Okay, so I'm out here at PV Mac at Prado at the flying field with Greg Stone, and Greg Stone is running for AMA president this year. He's been VP district president vice president of District 10,
District 10.
right, for 4 years?
4 years.
For 4 years now, and I've known him for over 15 years, and you know, I've known him as a good friend. I've known him as a reasonable and wise man. But the real thing that has always impressed me about Greg is the way that he handles the clubs that he's involved with. He's how many clubs are you VP at right now?
Couple right now.
Yeah, at least a couple clubs
Yeah.
of VP. And then, of course, district VP. And always treats everybody with respect. Everybody around him always ends up just following the golden rule. Everybody treats each other well and with camaraderie, and everybody gets along. And we just don't have this all this couples. We don't have all these, disagreements and everything. I know a lot of people that try to get respect by demanding respect, and it never works. And Greg just treats everybody with respect and consideration and camaraderie, and then it's fun to watch how everybody responds to that so well, and everybody gets along. I'm always glad that he's in a board of any club. I wish he was in the board of all clubs, which I guess AMA president is sort of like being involved in all clubs.
Support everybody.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
support all the people. Wonderful family man, wonderful friend, loyal friend, good guy. I love Greg. I couldn't think of anybody possibly better for the job, and now I want to talk to Greg and get his input, background, to get to this point. His son, who's awesome, and how he's involved in club boards too,
Yep.
and then all his involvement. He goes to every event. He supports everything, and then why he wants to be AMA president. That's enough of a setup, I think. So you could kind of take that from there.
Yeah, and I'm just looking to expand my role among the modeling community, really go beyond District 10, support everything nationwide, really looking to do everything we can to support the clubs better. We've been dealing with issues of membership declining, and we need to focus on new membership initiatives. I think a lot of that goes down to the youth level. We need to do more there. Drive that interest, drive that excitement, help clubs, help the youth come along, get that to expand. They may not be, permanent members initially, but they're going to come back, and you spark that interest. It gives them not only a hobby, something to do, something to explore beyond just, I'll say, video games, but it also is a pathway into, careers. And so there's a lot of possibilities there. And so, I love to support all the different STEM activities, whether it's, the younger kids on up high school, especially I focus a lot on, collegiate, STEM programs, design, build, fly programs, that are working through, aerospace and that, and just look to, support the hobby, through the gamut and, at the club level and through all of the membership.
Yay. And tell them about Nathan. I'm so proud of Nathan.
Yeah, my son's great. He's, he went through, youth and, got into the hobby, and then has now, joined boards with clubs, but he's also, now in mechanical engineering with aerospace, aircraft propulsion, and is now, working in industry, on the next generation stuff. So just thrilling to see, how all of that has happened, and how everybody he's associated with has kind of followed that path.
And guys, Nathan and Greg are both 3D pilots. They can both hover a plane 1 foot off the ground, just so that you know.
Not as good as many of you, I'm sure. But
that's important to my guys.
Yep.
They got your back on 3D, and they got your back on giant scale. So they're thinking about those types of things when they're making all their decisions, about dynamics on everything. What you touched on is dear to me, is getting the kids in, promoting the hobby, and camaraderie, versus gatekeeping. Yes. I see a lot of gatekeeping, except not from you.
No, we have to welcome everybody, and it spans the youth through every age group. We need to be supportive. It's all about the camaraderie at the club level, at the field level. we need to include them, make them feel welcome, because they are our future, and not just in the hobby, but also in the future life. So we need them, and we've got to nurture that, and so need to be supporting them through everything.
What other issues right now is the AMA facing?
I mean, membership's one of the key ones.
Is membership down a little bit?
Membership's down a bit, and we need to really kind of work on that to get that back up. And I think we need to do, work, and I think a lot of that's going to be youth-based, to kind of drive some of that. I think we're over most of the hurdles with our airspace, action,
FAA
interactions
stuff.
with FAA and all of that. So
pretty stable there?
I think we're pretty stable there. There will be minor tweaks that happen over the years, but we've largely, weathered all of that and protected the hobby. And I think we're going to see, even more strength there supporting the hobby. So now we need to get back to, our core mission and, really kind of get membership back going, get youth back going.
That's what I like. I was at a club in Northern California where they kept really great records going back decades.
Yeah.
And what they found when they showed me, it was pretty eye-opening, and not surprising at all, but pretty eye-opening still, is that they asked me, the president of the club, he says, how many planes do you think the average person gets before they quit? And I said, I really don't know. And he said, 2. They get their trainer, and then they're very excited, enthused, and they get their first plane and they crash it. And they said that pretty much takes care of the majority of people. So at that point, what he was trying to get at was it's us that keep them involved.
Yes.
It's
the camaraderie at the field, the support for everybody. You crash something at a field and you'll have many people come over, many hands helping to assess and figure out, can it be rebuilt? And in some cases, we see things back in the air before they even, ready to leave because, everybody's kind of come together and resurrected the plane.
And then what keeps you going? I've seen you do so much, so many of your weekends, and you travel all over the district and you support all the events, and you do so much paperwork for these clubs. A lot of times you're the secretary and take care of everything. And then what keeps you going and gives you that drive to be AMA president and take care of all that responsibility too?
I think a lot of it is just providing all of the support that is needed out there and seeing how everybody reacts, when we're at the field. I mean, this is all about camaraderie, the love of the hobby, the enjoyment of whether we build it, whether we just pull it out of a box, but how we enjoy flying it, and really just kind of all coming together, in this hobby. And so I'm all in to, support that and nurture that in any way possible, and hence my goal to really get into this position and help us kind of rejuvenate some of these areas and build more of that spark back up.
What about getting new fields, which is really tough in California to get new fields, but I imagine even around the country it's not super easy.
Yeah.
And I know AMA has some support for renovating fields, and they do give you some legal help for different things, right?
They can. I mean, a lot of it though has to come locally, but I think the key is being there to help support the clubs in what efforts are needed, what communications are needed.
Is that a plan that you have for yourself as AMA president?
And that's something I've worked a lot through District 10 to help clubs with, steer them into, maybe relationships that they weren't aware they needed. Work with the relationships associated with your landowner or near your landowner, whether it's county parks groups, whether it's school district groups, whether it's city groups, because you build your awareness in the community with what you can offer, not just as a flying field for members, but any of the outreach you do in the community, whether it's family night outs and showcasing what the club offers, whether it's support for STEM activities, helping teachers in schools with things. I think a lot of that goes a long way to building the rapport with the community, and in turn that can help open doors when you have issues with the site. Development comes in, sites are lost. What can we do to find a new site? And some of those relationships actually help open those doors.
I've seen you do that,
Yes.
So we have one of the nicest fields and one of the trickiest fields to get and keep in OCMA out at Irvine Lake. And a lot of dancing had to be done, and I've seen you make all those relationships with all the different powers that be over there, which there's several, between the fire department and the county
Yeah.
and others, and even James Events. And
Yes.
coordinating with everybody, having a good relationship with everybody, and appreciating what everybody else is doing, and everybody appreciate what we're offering to people too. I've seen you do that for 15 years to where we didn't have a lease for the longest time, and now we have a solid lease.
Yeah.
So,
And it's all about the relationships. And
so you have the experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So really, again, just trying to share that.
Yeah.
And work with the clubs that need that assistance.
And you love it, and we love you.
I love the hobby. I love.
I wish
what it's all
everybody
about.
know you. That's what this video is all about. If everybody met you and everybody was at a club with you for a month, they would vote for you. That's a guarantee. So, just want to get that word out there.
Yeah, and that's my ask is, I would appreciate everybody's support, in this vote, and let's get this done. Let's move to the next stage.
Yeah, I like it. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.